Okay, everybody, I'm glad to have you guys here. Leah, this is your first time going through. Omar's first time to go through. John will be here shortly. So what I want to do, I created the apprenticeship program to help agents put a solid foundation down. The program, I'm going to go over the outline in a minute with you, um, is really what it takes to succeed in real estate. When I first started as an agent, there really wasn't any outline. There really wasn't any like progression. Do this first, do this second, do this third. What it was you get your license, you join an MLS, you go through your orientation, you get your training, you become a realtor, right? And then you take your classes at the MLS and it shows you how to use and do searches and put listings in and write contracts and things like that. But you have to take that upon yourself to go and learn all that. No one teaches it to you. Okay. And to be fair with it, it's impossible to teach everything without having deals to work on. It would take you a year to sit down and teach everybody a contract, how to write it, a listing agreement, how to write it, an exclusive right, a buyer's agency. I mean, if you don't have reasons to write them, it's hard to teach how to write them just because of the time consumption and what it would take to put that together. So when you look at real estate, okay, real estate's a tough business. Okay. It's a simple business, but it's not easy. Do you guys understand what I mean by that? Like, it's simple processes and simple steps, but it's not easy to do. And I'm going to show you guys, I made some flow charts. I want to show you the process because a lot of people here are new and a lot of people here are in the business, but never really put flow charts together or, studied what happens, if option A happens, then B. But what if B falls apart? Then you have to go to C or D. So I put these little flow charts together. You guys have these, by the way, in your folder in your the Pier 21 folder I share with you guys. Let's see here. All right, so what I want to do is first, I want to go over like the tasks you have when you're dealing with a deal and what you have to do, all the items. And then I want to go over a flow chart of a real estate transaction. Okay, so actually I'm going to start with the flow chart. Okay. So what happens is if you're dealing with the seller or you're dealing with a buyer, okay, there's two different sides of the business. Seller side, buyer side. Okay. So when you're dealing with the seller, first you have to get the seller. And how do you do that? You got to prospect, you got to market, you got to call, you got to talk to people. People got to know who you are and what you do, right? So the first thing that happens is once we're going to skip the part of getting them because that's what we're going to work on throughout the apprenticeship. This is once you have the client, once you have somebody and you have an appointment with them, right? This is what we do on the Zoom call. So the whole goal is to get the client through our talking points, get them on the Zoom call together. And this part here is what we take over. Okay. And this here simplifies it. There's a lot more to it, but this simplifies it down. Okay. So when you're dealing with the seller and the seller, you got an appointment. Great. Okay. The first thing we need to do is present our CMA. And on that Zoom call is when we go over our RPR report. That's going to go over the property, all the details about it. Okay. It's going to go over all the properties that are comparable to it, that are on the market, that are pending, which means they're under contract, which have closed. So we see what they're selling for. And it's also going to go over the ones that expired or canceled or withdrew. And usually there's either an issue there, deals fell apart, price too high and it didn't sell. That's usually the reason that place expires or doesn't sell. Okay. So once you do that, and we go over all that information with them and they agree to list with you, that's when we list the property. Now we have to do a contract. There's a 4-page contract for a listing. And I'm going to walk you guys through those at a later date. But right now I want to go over the overview. Okay. Is everybody with me on this? Everybody's good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we do the call. We do the appointment. We get a listing agreement signed. We get all the documentation, driver's license, tax record, deed for the property, and any HOA documentation, anything that we need. And then we start putting the property onto the MLS, which I put it on all 3 MLSs. Then we go into List Hub and I put it on the international marketing. We go to 140 countries in 18 different languages. Okay. And now the house is on the market. Now at that point, some people do open houses, some people do different events to drive people in. Okay. And at that point, the house is on the market. You do updates with your client once a week. Like I call my clients on Fridays. Hey, here's what's going on. Like the house I just listed. We had some showings. They thought it was a little bit too high. We're going back and forth. And basically, see here, somebody's trying to get in, but it's not showing me. I don't know. Weird. Okay. So Friday, I'm going to be having a conversation with them. We already touched base. We're probably going to drop the price a little bit just to get more people in because it's a brand new house, less than a year old, and they're still building brand new ones next door. We're already 10 grand under price and we're giving $10,000 towards closing costs to entice the people because the builder's giving 10 grand towards closing costs, but they're 10 grand higher for the same house. So we're probably going to adjust it a little bit just because the house is a year old and already owned. So we're trying to get as much as we can for it. Okay. Then once you get the showings, once you get a contract, you get here. You're when you have a purchase contract. Okay. That's your listing side. Simple, right? Get the client, sell yourself, show them you could sell it. They agree. You do the paperwork, you advertise it, you get it on the MLSs, and you start bringing people in. Okay. Now we got to the purchase contract. Okay. That's where we are. Now let's go to the buyer side because I'm going to go over all the buyer things that get you to the same point. Because once you get to this point, from that point down, it's the same. Right. So from the purchase contract, it's the same going down. Title companies, negotiations, things like that. Right. Inspection periods. So now when you're dealing with a buyer, okay, you're going to see buyers coming from online. You're going to see from social media. You're going to talk to people. You're going to get a buyer. Now, once you have a buyer that agrees to meet with you, you do this on Zoom. Okay. Again, when you have a buyer, I'll go on Zoom. I'll meet them with you and I'll walk you through this. Okay. So we'll do this on 2 or 3 of them. Crystal, you're the one here that we've done both of these, right?
Yeah.
I just explain to them quickly from your point of view as an agent with no experience. You know, the first one we did for the house here, the people to move to Tennessee, Wagner's. And
yeah.
The buyers for your people, the one we closed over on the beach then. When
Well, the Wagners were significantly easier.
Yeah. When we did that, I recorded that. We have those recorded. But what I want to say is I just want you to explain to them, having no experience, how we did that, how we went through those steps, how simplified, and how we went over the things and how I hit every point with them to get the deal done pretty quickly. Right. So
yeah, I mean, we called Kathy. I was with you when we called Kathy, because that was the first call I ever made.
Right.
And I definitely was not the best at the call, but you kind of talked me through it. She was definitely confused after the end of that conversation. But whenever we contacted her afterwards and we sat down with the Zoom call and talked with her and her husband, you made it very clear and very easy for them to understand compared to whenever I did.
Yeah, it wasn't that you confused them. You did good. You got to give yourself some credit. It was your first. You did good. I don't think you confused them. I think, you hit the points you needed to. Give yourself a little more credit.
But I give myself some credit. I mean, she still
Yeah,
wanted to set up the Zoom call and all that, but like
yeah,
she
yeah,
definitely
you
sounded
did.
like I don't exactly understand chores because it was my first call. It's fine. I'm not putting myself down at all. Um, but it was easy. It was a lot easier to go through it all because people were coming to us. I wasn't showing her different houses and everything. And then whenever each bullet point hit that we had to do, it was very simple
Between
for the
sending the
seller.
report and sending the videos and everything. And that video that Zoom she's talking about, guys, is going to be one of the case studies we go over. I'm going to play that video for you and we're going to watch it. And you're going to see the conversation. So leading up to that, Crystal called. She set the Zoom call up. I got on the Zoom call you're going to see, and from there you're going to see it just went right through. Okay. And then on the buyer side, you remember we did the original buyer, we went over everything in general because we didn't have any house to pick yet, right? We did the search for them and sent it.
Yeah, I set up the searches
Yeah.
in the MLS at first.
Mm-hmm.
And she was able to see things that I wasn't able to see at some point with realty.com or something like that.
Realtor.com.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, realtor.com. But for the most part, I had for one, I had to learn how to set up those searches the best way for her. And that was a little bit of trial and error, but eventually I got down and then I had it setting up so that I was sending her emails once a day
Right.
instead of once a week or every time it found something. So that way daily in the morning, she was able to look at each one that she
That gets
liked.
nerve wracking when you send it right away because they'll get the 20 emails a day if they go on the market. So you got to do like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So,
So, and also the cool part about that is she's able to mark which one she likes for me.
right.
So
And
then I'm able to just, focus on those ones to get the information that she needs, get everything printed out, and then go over it with her before we ended up going to see them. And again, we went to go see like 10 or so houses,
yep.
all in St. Augustine. So it was fun.
Yeah. That's the process. And how many offers did we put in? We put in like 3 or 4 different offers,
3.
right? Three, yeah. Yep. So we
Yes.
actually offered on 3 houses that two of them didn't get accepted. Well, actually, all three didn't get accepted. And then one of the
And
ones
then the fourth offer was back with the first
the
house.
first house that we offered on actually ended up being the one they bought. The lady
Yeah.
came down and did it. Yep. Yep. So that was the whole process. Now to get there, the first thing we did was, we met with them on Zoom, did all the information, got that all squared away. And then at that point, you got to make sure they're approved. So when I'm dealing with a client who's not approved, right there, I introduce them to my lenders and I make sure that they're approved because I'm not taking anybody anywhere unless they're approved. Because if they say, no, I'll get approved later. No, what if they can't get approved and you're going to do all this work and get a contract, they can't get approved. Right. So the first thing you do is get them approved. And I have an example. I mean, I'm working a deal right now, and the approval is actually it's in the email. I'll pull it up here. So for example, I got them not only approved, I get them underwritten. And underwritten means that they got the pay stubs, bank statements, everything's been approved and done. All we need is title, appraisal, and contract, and we can close in like 20 days. Okay, so the one I'm working on right now, here's their pre-qualification. And I make sure I have this before I even go. So Mark runs the Southeast region for Loan Depot. He does all my financing personally, and he's who I recommend. And I give him a couple other lenders too, because you can't push them one way. But here's what I get. And he actually underwrites them and gets everything squared away for me. Now, when I send the offer over, here's what the offer looks like. So here's the offer we're making to the people. It's got to wait a second for this to load. Yeah. So here's our offer, right? So here's the offer. We offer 369, 2,500 down, title company, all the information, when they got to let us know by, which is 5 p.m. They didn't let me know to 6. Closing date, all the stuff goes in here. This is the standard offer, right? And I filled all the information. Now we also are requesting, buyer and seller agree to the seller will give 10,000 towards closing. So they can have a little less towards closing costs. This is the clause I put in there about the violations or any HOA problems or permit problems that protects the buyer all the way to closing. We put that in all of them. We'll talk more about that later. So there's our typical offer. Now, here is the rider, okay, for the HOA. Here is the approval, right? So the agent knows they're approved. Here is the contingency for them to sell their property. Here is the listing agreement for the property they're selling. So they see it's being sold. There's the MLS agreement for the property we're buying. There's the tax report, right? Shows who owns it, everything on it. There's the driver's licenses for the buyers. So my file's complete right there. That is a complete file, everything I need if we get this deal done. Right now, we're in a hang up. We came to terms on everything except the contingency. The seller wants the property that they're selling under contract before they'll agree to it. They won't do a contingency. And that's not going to work because they can't put the money down and take a chance. And if they don't sell their house, they're not going to lose their money, right? So we're at a stalemate there. So it's probably not going to go forward. But we'll find out tomorrow. So that's an example. Is that helping you guys understand some of the process? Like, I don't want to go too far in different directions, but I want to make sure you guys see like kind of like what we're working on through the layout. Is this helping you guys? Okay. So now you meet with the agent. Okay. Now, something I don't have in here when they're getting approved. So the first thing you need to do now is you need to get a buyer broker agreement done. A buyer broker agreement is going to protect you. This is because of the NAR lawsuits and things that are going to be changing. Because if you represent a buyer and the law changes or the listing agent are no longer allowed to pay you a commission, you're going to get paid nothing to do the work. So you need to get a buyer broker agreement if you're going to deal with buyers, which states if the listing agent does not pay you, that they will. So if you're going to get 2%, the buyer would have to pay you 2% at closing, not the listing agent. And that may happen legally. The findings are coming out in the next 30 days. And
I have a question.
Yep.
So okay, say for instance, the listing agreement says that we'll sell your house for 6% commission, right?
Mhm.
And then the findings come out that the listing broker doesn't
It's not
isn't
allowed.
supposed to pay.
It's illegal. It becomes illegal. They will not pay you.
Okay, so that means that the listing agent keeps the entire 6%, and then the buyer broker
would get a commission from the buyer.
So that means that the buyer would end up. Wait a minute. Okay, so the seller would pay the listing agent the 6%, and then the buyer needs to have a contract with you. So the 2% that you say as your commission, you would have in contract.
The buyer would have to pay you at closing.
Okay.
Now here's where your problem comes in. Why would a buyer pay you 2% when they can go directly to the listing agent and pay nothing?
Outside of the fact that the buyer may not have access to, the listing agent directly. Like, are they marketing their own?
Sure. I get buyers calling me all the time for my property because I advertise it. I double side 2/3 of my deals as a transaction broker. Can't do it as a single agent, remember, with the licensing. But I can be a transaction broker and deal with the buyer and the seller and deal with the transaction. And that's what I do.
Okay, so if you're a transaction broker and you're dealing with a buyer and a seller,
you can do the whole deal.
I'm sorry?
You can do the whole deal. You can represent both.
Okay, so then would you have a buyer agreement
No.
that says 2% and then a listing that says 6%?
Technically, you could. Technically, legally, you could. So, for example, I'll give you an example. I'm just going to show you one of my listing agreements for the listing I have up right now. The one I just put up. I'll show you that one. All right, so here's a listing agreement. Okay. Give it a second here. So technically, if I had a listing, let's say I was charging the seller 4%, right? And I'm not charging them, I'm not paying the buyer's agent. I'm going to charge the seller 4%. If a buyer comes to me and wants to buy it, I could charge them 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever I want if they'll pay it. Or I could charge them nothing and just make the whole 4%.
Okay.
But why would I charge them nothing? I could charge them 1% when everybody else is going to charge them too. Right? You still got to do the work. You're doing the liability. You got to have it, right? So this is a listing agreement here. And it breaks down what you're selling for the property for. I made some adjustments because we had it listed. They had tenants in there. They messed it up. They had to fix it and do some stuff. So here's where it gets broken down. I'm charging 6% right here.
Mhm.
I'm paying another agent 2%. So I'm making 4, they're getting 2. Okay. Now, if I bring the buyer, I reduce the 6% to 5% and I keep the whole 5. You see right here? See that?
Okay.
See how that works? So I tell them, okay, here's my fee. If I bring the buyer, I'll reduce it. I'll save you some money and I'll handle the whole transaction. And I put that right in the listing agreement.
Mhm.
And then also I put in here, I paid for the photos. So for any reason, if the seller decides to cancel, they pay me $500.
Okay.
I normally don't charge anything, but when I pay for the photos, I'm going to get something back if they cancel. Only if they cancel. If I don't sell it, that's on me, right?
Mhm.
So that's an example. Now, if I turn around and bring the buyer, I could charge the buyer 1%, 2%, 3%, for whatever, if they want to pay it. If
Mhm.
I can get them to pay it on top of this. That's
Okay.
2 separate agreements. Okay. I mean, that's just a matter. Now, in commercial real estate, that happens all day long. In commercial real estate, the buyer pays their commission and the seller pays their commission
Okay.
on a lot of deals. That happens all day, every day in commercial. But in residential, it's never been that way. And that's what the whole antitrust is about. Why should a seller pay the buyer's commission? That means the buyer's paying too much for the house. Maybe they can sell the house for less. I don't believe that one. That's what they said, but they're still going to sell the house for what they can sell it for, right? So, but that's a whole nother argument. Okay. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all this is going to change because depending how these findings come out, it's going to change how we do business. 100%. And we're not going to know until it happens. And then we'll adjust at that time, right? Okay, so let's get back to the flow chart. Okay, so you meet with the buyer, you get them with a lender. Now, 3 things can happen, or 2 things can happen. The lender pre-qualifies them and they're approved, or they're unable to qualify. They can't get approved. Then at that point, you develop a plan of action. The lender can do credit repair. They can get them ready for the situation. They can help them consolidate bills and do whatever they have to do to get approved. And then you go back up here, right? They kind of go back up here because they're going to be in a waiting because they can't buy anything. Now, if they're approved, you get the pre-qualification letter. That's the one I just showed you, the approval, right? Now, once they're approved, now we go see houses. I went Sunday, I took them, right? Buyer makes an offer. Then the realtor writes the purchase contract. I just showed you guys the contract I wrote, right? With all the information, 10,000 credit, permit stuff, all that, right? And you submit it to the agent. And that's what I did yesterday. Okay, now you go through negotiations. That's what we're doing now. We came to terms on everything. However, we can't come to terms on the contingency. And we're still trying to get that situated. So the seller deals with the seller's realtor. The buyer deals with the buyer's realtor. They never communicate together. It's through the agency. Okay, now, at that point, two things happen. Contract doesn't happen. You go back up here, square one. You start looking at houses again, right? You're back up here, right? If the deal falls apart, you go back up here. If the contract gets accepted, at this point, if you're a listing agent or a selling agent, which selling agent means representing the buyer, okay? At this point, the deals become the same. The contract gets accepted, okay? At that point, you have to provide the property disclosure, right? Remember, you have on a condo and all that stuff, you have the 3 days, or in the contract, you have 5 days to give all the disclosure. That's the seller disclosure, okay? You have to deliver the escrow deposit within 3 business days. You got to obtain the property inspections within this inspection period, 7 days, 10 days, 5 days, 3 days, whatever it is. The homeowner is going to start shopping for insurance. They're going to start talking to insurance companies, finding out what the costs are for insurance. And then the loan process begins. Okay. So let's start with the disclosures. You must get the disclosures delivered and signed. You must facilitate the property inspections, and the inspection conditions must be removed. That's the inspection period, that everything needs to be let go, or you got to address concerns. Okay. Inspection. You got to obtain the necessary property inspection. If there's a well and septic, you got to get that tested. You got to get termite inspection. You got to get the full property inspection. Sometimes the 4-point inspection. That's for the electric, plumbing, roof, and the foundation for insurance companies, right? They're going to go for the insurance. They're going to start shopping. And then the loan process, what happens there? Okay, so now that you found a property and you have a contract, now the lender can go to the next stage, right? Because they're approved, and now the lender's waiting for the title report, the appraisal, and the contract, right? You need that to get the loan to underwriting and to get it clear to close. So the loan process is happening over here. At the same time, this is happening over here. So I'm going to go through the loan process first, but this is simultaneously happening with the title company. And I'll start with the loan process. So the loan process begins. Okay, the first thing the lender does, they're going to order the appraisal. They're going to receive the appraisal, and the appraisal report's going to come back. Did the house come in for what you bought it for? Did it come in too low? Did it come in higher? Right? So we're going to get the report. Let's say the house comes in for what they appraised. Great. If it came in too low, the buyer has the option to walk away or put more money down. Or the seller and the buyer, the seller can lower the price. There's something called an appraisal contingency. If you do an appraisal contingency, that means the buyer can walk away unless the seller lowers the price to what the appraisal comes in at. You sell something for $500, the appraisal comes in at $485. The seller can say, look, okay, we'll drop it to $485. There's nothing we can do. That's what it's worth. Or they can say, no, buyer, I'm not doing that. You can walk away, or you can put 15 grand more at closing. Because the lender is going to go off the appraisal, not the sale price.
Right. Okay.
So if you want to buy a house that comes in 15 grand under and you still want it, you just got to put the 15 grand out. The lender will still give you the percentage of the 485, but you'd have to put the over money out on top of your closing costs and everything. People do it all the time. I've seen people pay 100 grand over on multi-million-dollar homes. I've seen it. And I mean, I think people are crazy, but hey, they want the house, right? I've seen people buy a house cash with no appraisal for more than it was worth because they wanted the house. It happens. Maureen, you see it in New York all the time, right? You see people writing $300,000 over, paying cash for a house that's not even worth it, right? That's still happening up there in certain areas, right? So that comes through. Now, once they get the appraisal, the conditions get removed. The appraisal conditions, the finance, all the conditions to get the loan to clear, and they get the final loan approval, and then that gets sent over. Now, while that's going on, the contract got accepted. The contract gets accepted. Okay. I'm going to show you what happens when a contract, we just did a land deal. Okay. And I just got the land deal done. They're closing 2 weeks. It's a $21,000 piece of land. It was somebody who saw my video on Saks and called us. And I actually had Crystal work on this. Crystal did all the legwork and talked to them, and I'm splitting the deal with Crystal. It's not a big deal. We're gonna make like $300-400 on it each. It's not, but it's a cool, really cool guy, and he's gonna build the house. I'm probably gonna get more business from him. But I want to show you what it looks like. So this deal here, this is the contract. I sent the offer. We made some changes, and I'm going to show you quickly what happens once you get a contract. Okay, so this is going to be an executed contract. And the second I got it executed, I'm going to show you what I did. Okay. Just got to let it open up here. So now this is a vacant land contract. Looks different, right? This isn't like the other one I showed you. This is a vacant land. So we offered them 18,000 and 1,000 down 17. They wanted 25,000. That's what they were asking. So we settled at 21,000. See how they initialed it here? We initialed it here. 3-5. They're gonna wire $1,000, and then they got to bring 20,000 to closing. All the stuff stayed the same. Closing date, everything's good here, right? Everything's fine here. There's the contract. Okay. Here is the vacant land disclosure statement. This is like a seller disclosure on a property or listing. This is a vacant land disclosure. You have to answer all the questions about it. It protects the agents and the brokers from any lies. You can't say it's not buildable if it is. Did they do soil tests? No. All the information's here. This is like a seller disclosure for land. And then I got the proof of funds. Here's the proof of funds. Here's the listing. Here's the tax document. Here's a driver's license. See, full file. Now, once that file's done, you have to send everything to the title company. Okay, so let me show you here. So here, the first thing I did. Now, in the flow chart, what's it say here? In the flow chart, hold on. Did I close it out? Damn it. No, I didn't. Okay. So once you have a contract accepted, you must deliver to the title company, right? Must go to the title company. So here it is. So here it is. I'm delivering it to the title company. Here's the email to the title company. There's the contract. She received it. Thank you. Right? And I sent her an email. There's all the stuff there. Okay. So there is the delivering it to the title company. Now the title company went ahead and contacts the buyers after I send them all the information, and they get the wire sent from the buyer. Once the buyer sends the wire, which would be the deposit, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is. Okay, they're going to send us a receipt. This is our escrow deposit showing that they're holding $1,000. This is what needs to be done within 3 business days. Remember on the test, it's got to be deposited within 3 business days. Well, this was done same day. I always try to get it done right away so you don't get close to that 3 days. It's very important because if this deposit isn't made within 3 days, it voids the contract. And let's say you made an offer, you got the deal. And let's say you don't make the deposit in time and they got another offer for 5,000 more. Guess what? You just lost the deal and they're going to take the other offer. And who do you think the buyer is going to make a problem with if that happened? You got to make sure everything gets done, right? So that's the wire, okay? The disclosure and inspections. That's all same thing, going with the other. Title search, preliminary title report. The title company does that. Once they get the title report back, they're going to send it to you to review. They're going to give you an opinion of title. Is it clear? Is there issues? Does stuff have to be taken care of? We're going to find out, right? Now, if there's any issues with the title, you got to go back to negotiations. Let's say there's a lien on the property or judgment or something that has to be paid at closing. Okay. Something like that happens. You got to start negotiating again. Because at this point here, if title's not clear, the buyer can back out and get their money back. So if there's a problem, you better start negotiating again. There's problems all the time. I had one deal last year. There was a $50,000 judgment from the city. I ended up getting it negotiated down to like $4,500. and the seller had to pay that at closing, but he could have had to pay 50. But I got it all worked out. They gave him a break and he closed, paid 4,500 and walked away with his money. He had all kinds of violations and things like that in the property. It was in Pompano Beach. Okay, now at this point, we're at the point where we were talking about the loan. So when a final loan approval gets done, it gets sent to the title company. So that's where we are now. Escrow they'll verify and make sure there's no liens, judgments. They'll make sure all the bank's numbers, the payoffs, everything's together. They send out the closing document, who's getting what, commissions, everything's on the closing document. How much they need to bring to closing. Remember when we did our testing, you had to do the closing sheet and you had to debits and credits, rents and all that stuff. That's this part. Okay. Now the closing procedure. They schedule the closing. They get everything clear to close. They balance the numbers. They send it to the lender. The lender approves it finally. And then they send the documents and the lender sends the money to the title company. That money's sitting in the title company. The escrow, the deposit, all that's sitting in the title company. You go to closing. They sign everything. Everything's completely signed. The loan funds. Okay. When the loan funds, the money gets sent to the seller. All the rents, if they're renting back, whatever they're doing, once they get their money, the keys go to the buyer. Deal's done. That's your real estate transaction. You guys have any questions on a flow chart? It's a lot, right? It's a lot, and a lot can go wrong between this point right here and this point right here. I gotta say, I have systems in place. Crystal can testify because she's seen it. How I stay ahead, how I follow up, with the mortgage contingencies, I stay in touch with the lenders. I stay on top of the lenders when they don't send the right documents in time. Because if a lender doesn't send the mortgage approval and the mortgage contingency ends, let's say it ends yesterday and tomorrow something goes wrong with the loan, the buyer loses their deposit. So I want to protect the buyer. So I stay on top of the lender to get the contingencies met. We don't have to do that. It's not our job, but we should, right? So stuff like that. On the listing side, same thing. You check with the title company, you make sure everything's going okay, make sure there's no liens and judgment. If there's a problem, you want to know right away. You stay in communication you just don't wait. You stay in communication with everybody along the way. All through email. You do it all through email and you copy yourself, right? Because anytime you do that, you got to keep record of it. Because if something goes wrong and there's an investigation into a deal, if you have all your emails, well, I did this, well, I did that, well, I did this, well, here I did that, and they see all that, it's going to clear you. If you don't have emails, well, I called them and told them, and they say, well, no, you didn't. What do you think is going to happen? You want everything documented. If somebody doesn't do something, you want it documented. Okay. Every email for every deal documented. Okay. Does that make sense?
Can I ask you a question, Phil?
Yes.
Does an attorney usually do these things or?
In New York, yes. In Florida, no.
Okay. No,
In
I
New York-
I see that. So
Yeah.
we're responsible for all of this.
You're not legally responsible for everything. However, if there's an investigation and you're found negligent, you will lose your license. So just because the lender has a mortgage contingency due March 15th, if you don't take any action to remind them or something, there's negligence there,
Wow.
right?
So
Okay.
basically, they could just get you on for not doing your fiduciary duty.
Fiduciary duty, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Remember, you got to use skill, care, and diligence, right? That's part of the transaction broker. Skill, care, and diligence. You're not being diligent if you let a contingency run out. It happens every day. You know how many deposits I kept from people because of that? I mean, in my career. But that's the way it works. I mean, that's just the way it works. Okay. Now, do you guys have any question on a flow chart or on a process of how deals work?
No, but can I ask you another question?
Yes.
Isn't it better to get it signed, your agreement, like, first off with a buyer?
You're talking about a buyer broker agreement?
Yeah,
I
like, isn't
signed that.
it,
I signed that before I'll never even take them and look at a house without one of them.
right, okay, that's what I thought. I thought you said that, and then I thought you said, you did a few steps, and then you said they need to sign this.
Right. Well, because of my flow chart here, when I created it, it was before the lawsuit. So honestly,
I got it.
I got to put a box here, buyer broker agreement, like up here, like up here.
Right, like, that's the first thing to do, right?
You do
Okay,
that before you even meet with them. Like, I mean, actually at the meeting right here, when you meet with them and when they make a commitment to work with you, that's when you sign it. Literally in this box. Now, a buyer broker agreement was always there for 100 years, but nobody used it because you were always paid by the listing agent. There was no reason to present it to the buyer saying, if I don't get paid, and the only reason you would present a buyer broker agreement was if the buyer was paying you an additional fee.
Yeah,
And
and now it seems to be a point of contingency for the buyers from what
Well-
I'm reading by
Well,
people
no,
posting.
yeah,
It's
no buyer on earth would pay you a fee when you're getting paid by the listing agent, unless it's a commercial deal. Commercial
right.
listing agents sometimes don't pay, and the buyer has to pay. That's known. But they're trying to make it the same way in residential now. And I still say they're trying to make it harder for people to own property. They want them to rent. So when somebody's coming to buy a $350,000 house and they're coming to closing with 23 grand, closing costs, down money, now they got to come with another 10, 15 grand for the listing, for the commission. Who has that money now? They're trying to make it harder for the average people to buy homes. And the government's in on it. They're the one making the charges. So now here's what's going to happen. And I'm telling you, I've had arguments on videos and things with people. Todd Sachs, we disagree. He thinks buyer's agents are going to do well because they have the buyers. Well, they don't have the buyers because Zillow's giving them. Zillow's going to be out of business if this happens the next day. Redfin's going to be out of business because all they do is buyers. They're going to be out of business the next day. So what happens is if I want to go buy a house and I say, Maureen, I want you to represent me. Maureen, you tell me, Phil, okay, I'm going to buy a $500,000 house. You got to pay me 2% commission. I got to give you 10 grand at closing. Maureen, why would I give you 10 grand at closing when I see 5 houses I want and I call the listing agent and I don't have to pay anything? They'll just sell it to me and they'll make the commission on the sell side. Why would I could let them be a transaction broker with me? I could look at the papers, go to my lawyer, pay the lawyer $500, maybe $1,000 to review it, make sure it's okay, and save myself $9,000. Why would I pay you to show me a house?
And you don't think the selling agent is going to end up charging on both sides?
Well, what if the buyer says, well, I'm not going to pay you this, but here's my offer? They can't not show the offer.
Okay.
Now, the listing agent can say, I'm going to charge you 1% or 2%. But here's the thing. If that buyer wants to make an offer, they can write their own offer and hand it to the listing agent. And because of the law, the listing agent still has to present it.
So they'll know.
They'll
They'll
know.
know what's happening.
Right. And if you don't present that, guess who they're going to call?
Yeah.
Department of Banking or Development or Real Estate or whoever they got to call. And they're saying, this listing agent won't take my offer. Dude, they'll grab you so fast. You know? So the bottom line is, I say buyer agents are going to be out of business. Who on earth is going to pay a buyer's agent anything when they can go to the listing agent? If I want to look at 5 houses, Maureen, can you show me these 5? Yeah, you got to pay me 2%. Hold on, Maureen. I got 5 houses. There's 5 phone numbers, 5 agents. I call each agent, go look at it myself. They'll show me the house.
But
Exactly.
that, I know that works in Florida, but like, not every state has transaction brokers and then they
Right.
don't allow dual agency.
Well, here you go. Now you got another problem. You see, North Carolina's like that.
Right.
Places in North Carolina. In North Carolina, there's nothing I can do. Now, you want to hear something even crazier about this whole thing? VA buyers. If you're getting a VA loan, you're military, and you're a buyer, it's illegal for a VA buyer to pay anything. So it's illegal for you to do a buyer broker agreement for a VA buyer because they're not allowed to pay you as per VA rules. So who's going to represent VA buyers? They're going to have to go to listing agents.
Yeah.
Do you see how confusing it's going to get? Anytime the government gets involved in anything, it's a mess. Right? So this is what we got to look forward to. And this is why I'm telling you guys, this is why we're doing this apprenticeship now. You gotta be a listing agent. You gotta be a listing agent if you want to stay in this business. I'm telling you. It's coming and it's going to happen fast. And another thing I want to say to you guys, myself and other school owners are, okay, March 31st is a renewal period for Florida licenses. Our renewal education is down between 40 and 60% depending on the school. That means 40% to 60% of the people who are going to renew their licenses aren't, because they're not doing the education to renew their license. That's a huge number of people who are not going to be licensed as of April 1st. The agents are starting to drop
Better
out.
for us.
It's
Better for us.
Hey, the less I don't care who goes. But
Yeah.
the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of that. People are walking away right now. And you have to be a listing agent. Number one, people got to like you. People got to trust you. And you got to bring something to the table that people aren't getting anywhere else. Okay? The system I put in place and the system I'm going to teach you guys, it works. I know it works because I make tons of money using it. I'm going to teach you it, and you got to use it how I'm teaching you, or it's not going to work for you. I don't know how else to emphasize. I'm going to teach you step by step by step. And if you follow this, there's less competition. People are leaving the industry. Once they see the presentation and what we do, they're like, every person, I wish I knew you before. Where were you when we did this? You know, Crystal, Wagner's, how about everything they said that we did for their sale? Then the Wagner's, I went and got my license in Tennessee so I could sell them a house there. The agents that they were working with couldn't find them a house. I got my license, found them a house, and got the house in Tennessee under contract before I got their house here sold. Because I know how to work things. I know how to get systems done. I know this business like the back of my hand. And I want to impart that into you guys because I want you guys all to be successful. So you can make a lot of money and I make money with you. That's the goal. So as we go through this, I'm just going to lay it out there. And it's not hard, guys. It's not easy. It's work. You got to put the initiative. You got to talk to people. There's a lot of bullshit you deal with, but I promise you it's worth it. And what we're going to do as we go through the apprenticeship, I'm going to make live calls. Like we could sit here like this. If whoever's in Jacksonville, if you guys want to come into the office, we can go into the classroom. I'll put the Zoom up on the big screen, and I'm going to make live calls. You can call me, hear me, call people I don't even know. Get hung up on people, talk shit to me. I'll talk shit back to them. You're going to hear me get deals. And as we get to that, I'm going to play these case studies. The Wagner's call, the one Crystal did. I have another one that I did Elaine, the lady that hung up on the kid I was training, I called her, 7-minute phone call, 30-minute Zoom call, listed it, double-sided the deal, closed it. I'm going to play all that for you. You're going to see it in real time, how that happened. Okay. So does that answer some of your questions? Like, I know you guys have a lot of questions and things, but like, I'm trying to like siphon it in for you for where we're going with this. Are you guys comfortable with that? Any questions? Okay. All right. So let's get rid of the flow chart. And what I want to go over with you guys is, get it back open. I closed it by mistake. Are the duties on a transaction, what you have to do on a transaction. Okay, there's buyer tasks and there's listing tasks. I want to focus on the listing tasks right now. Okay, so here you have tasks that need to be done on a transaction for a listing, and there's about 90 of them. Okay. The first thing you have to do, you must prepare your listing presentation once you have a client. Now, this is once you have a client and they're ready to meet with you. Okay. Our RPR reports are our presentations. Okay. And what I'm going to do, Maureen, your RPR is set up, right? You got your reports. Anad, you're set up with the RPR? Let me see. Okay.
Yes, I believe
Okay.
so.
So John's not. Crystal, yours is all set up. You've been sending. Leah, I need to get with you to set yours up, and Omar, I have to set his up with him. What I need you guys to do, Leah, Omar, and John. Okay, what I need you guys to do is go into my site, thephilipsimonetta.com. I need you to go in and schedule a new agent consultation. It's a 1-hour consultation in the time I have available. So what I need you to do is you come in here, you go in here, and you're going to go new agent consultation, and just go to whatever day it works for you. And I have times over here that are available. Over here, like this day I only have 9 p.m. This day I have morning and night. I need you guys to pick one of these. And what I'm going to do with you is I need to get your website completed. I need to get your RPR set up so you can run your reports and they look professional. It'll have the logo, your picture. Now, once we have the pictures back, I should have them tomorrow. I'm going to send you guys all the pictures, okay? And we need those to put the website live. I got to put your pictures on there. I got to do all that stuff. So we can't set this up until we have all that. I have, Leah, you gave me your blurb about everything. I have Omar's info. John, I got to get with you. I need like 2 paragraphs about who you are and everything for that, and then get everything set up for you on the, on the RPR. And also,
Okay.
John, if you have a headshot, like a professional picture, you weren't here for the photo, so I need you to just get me a professional picture and send it, and I can get that all together for when we set it up.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, cool. So you guys just have to go in there. Just wait until I get the photos. John, if you have a photo, you can send it and schedule whenever. It's going to take about an hour. I got to sit down with you guys, get RPR set up. I'm going to go in through the MLS, get everything linked up for you guys, and get us all ready to go. So it's going to take me about an hour with each of you to do that. So I need you guys to go in here and just schedule, and we'll do that. Okay. All right. So preparing the listing presentation. I'm going to go over this with you guys as a standard agent. As I'm training you and we're doing deals together, I'm going to cover most of this for you as we're going through it. But these are the steps you need to know. So you have to have a listing presentation. That's going to be our RPR report. And our presentation includes who we are, what we do, the talking points, all that's part of that. Okay. We have to research their property tax info, look at the comps that are sold, determine the average days on the market for properties in their neighborhood. You gather info from the sellers about the house. You meet with the sellers at their home. The meeting with the home at the home is more or less on Zoom now. We do the initial work on Zoom, and then we go to the home once we have the contract. Just like Crystal and I did, right? We did the contract, got everything done, then we went to the house, right? Okay, we go to the house, we give the listing presentation, which that's what we do on Zoom. Okay, we talk if there's any advise on repairs and upgrades. Like, for Wagner's, they painted the house, they did some work on the house before we got it on the market. Go over to checklists with them. We explain the current market conditions, discuss their goals, what they're trying to do, what they need to make on the house. We talk about our proposition, our value. What's our value to them? Look, we own a school, we own a brokerage. We've been doing this 25 years. We buy, we sell, we develop, we build. We give them a value proposition of who we are and what we do. We advertise your property in 140 countries in 18 different languages. We don't just put it on the MLS, put a sign in the yard and pray that somebody buys it. We actively go and try to find a buyer. We spend money to market the property in addition to just putting it on the MLS, right? We go over the marketing strategies, and it's just step by step. I'm not going to read through all of them, but these are the things you got to go through. You got to get the HOA information, all the bylaws. We got to have that because we need to put that and give it to the agents who are making offers. Any warranties on the properties. If the property has lead paste paint, we need to determine that if it needs to be taken care of. Security systems. If there's a security system in the house, sometimes they're leased. And sometimes that transfers to the new owner, or it gets taken out, or it dies, right? So the recording devices, if people have cameras in the houses, sometimes they leave the camera systems, right? They're already wired through the walls and stuff, right? All that stuff matters because that has to be said, hey, camera system's leaving, right? Remember how we talked about fixtures and trade fixtures and all that? Washer and dryer, right? If the washer and dryer is there and you don't say it's not included and it's connected, it's included, right? Setting up photo shoots, getting the house clean, lockbox, yard signs. Some places you can't put yard signs, right? A lot of HOAs don't let you put them now. A lot of sellers don't want signs in the yard because criminals are looking out for houses that are for sale and breaking in them, thinking they're empty or stuff. A lot of people don't want signs in their yards right now. Okay. Property flyers. When we list property, I have a service that makes all our flyers for us. And all the postings and things, they email them to us. Once you guys list it, I'll connect you with that with Mark McDonald, and it sends everything to you guys. Once you start listing the properties strictly under yourself. Okay. And then once you get it in the MLS, you get everything done. We keep track of the showing activity so we can give reports to the sellers. We got to present all the offers to the sellers. We got to look at the buyer's qualifications, look at their approval, make sure they're approved, right? Because you'll get offers from agents, and their person is not even approved for a mortgage. I won't even accept an offer unless there's a mortgage approval or a proof of funds if they're buying it, right? Like the land deal, they're paying cash, proof of funds, right? If they're paying cash, you show them the money in the bank. If they're getting a loan, you show them the approval, right?
Question. You said you won't accept the offer if they don't have the approval.
Right.
Can you not accept the offer? Like, can you?
Absolutely. A seller will not accept an offer without an approval.
Okay, so
they want loan approval.
I mean, that's something that is in the listing agreement or something, right?
No, if the seller says I will not accept offers without an approval. That's it. It's not a valid offer without an approval.
Mm.
Yep.
No, because I thought we had to tell the
Well, no, you would tell the owner, hey, we got an offer, but there's no approval.
Okay.
We got an offer, but there's no approval. And I usually talk to the seller even before I do the listing agreement. When we get offers, we need to require a mortgage approval or proof of funds, and they agree. And that's it.
Okay.
And if they want to send an offer over, say, listen, if there's no proof of funds or no approval, the seller won't accept it.
Okay.
That's it.
Can I ask you a question, Phil? Are you allowed to look at their pre-approval and their proof of funds, or does the
Yeah,
seller?
and you can call the lender. I've done it.
Okay, okay,
I've done that on your condo, 212. Remember Danny didn't want people in there unless they remember when it was getting goofy.
yes,
You didn't want people in. We require proof of funds or you can't see it. Remember?
right, but are you allowed to see it? I know that we
Oh
were.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's what I wasn't
He's a
clear on.
broker. I can
Right.
call the loan officer and make sure it's valid.
Do you know that here we're not allowed to see their information?
Really?
Yep,
Oh, you're living
That's
in a
why-
communist state, you know.
I know that. What else is new? That's why I was asking
They're
you,
putting the
because
army in the subway tomorrow.
it's a shit show. It's a flat out shit show. But that's why I was asking you, because that's Florida. That's good. That's the way
Yeah,
it should.
no, absolutely. I mean, I just showed you the thing with the approval and with the loan approval, right? It's in there. It's right. They can call the lender right now, the agent. Yep. They don't. So how do you prove that they're approved?
Because the seller gets like I
But
have
how
to
do they get it? Who hands it to them?
email it to them.
Who emails it to them though?
The buyer.
The buyer and the seller communicate directly?
No, they just send it, like I just had an instance like this. I had a buyer, the seller didn't like their pre-approval. She sent it over to the seller. He didn't like the pre-approval because he said it was something online.
Wait, the
and-
buyers and the sellers are communicating?
Yes.
That's impossible. That's not even allowed here.
Yeah, no,
That's-
here it is.
That's crazy, man. I never heard of that before.
I know
Any-
this place is a mess.
No, I've never heard of that because that's a conflict of interest. Like you can't, like the buyer and seller never communicate. It's always through the agents.
No, I'm sorry. It goes to the
You know, like,
agent.
what's the point of an agent if they're talking directly to each other?
No, it goes to the agent, but I'm not allowed, I'm the buying agent. I'm not allowed to see it. I have to tell my customer.
Oh, you
send
can't
her
look at it?
information
Even
to
though it's
the
the
other
agent?
agent.
Okay. So you're the agent and you have them contact the other agent.
I have to have them send the pre-approval proof of funds to the
What is
other
that all about?
agent, and then
What-
she'll present it to the
Oh, I
seller.
see. So what is that all about then? It makes no
I
sense.
don't know. That's why I'm asking, because it's just so different.
Why do they do that though? And like, what's the reasoning for that? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Like, why
Like,
aren't
you
I
already
allowed
have
to-
fiduciary duty to them. Like, what are you gonna do? Take the pre-approval and run with it? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's what I never, and this, I don't understand it, but I'm just so
That's
glad
weird.
that Florida does it that way.
That's really weird. That's really weird. I never heard of anything.
Florida's I mean, New York's
Because
a
you already
mess.
have your fiduciary relationship with them. You can't share the information anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess they don't trust us.
They don't trust themselves.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so and that's it. And then as you get closer to the closing, you gotta meet the appraiser at the property, let them in. You gotta negotiate if there's an unsatisfactory appraisal. You gotta confirm the clear close. You gotta coordinate the closing time, verify with the title company. All these items. And you're gonna see when you get a deal, you and I are gonna do this stuff together as we go step by step through. We're gonna contact them. I'm gonna schedule them. You're gonna be copied on all the emails. You're gonna see everything through the transaction and how to do it. And the only way to learn this is by doing it. Do you see my point now? What I'm trying to say to you guys? This is why they have every company has training programs, but they tell you what you have to do. They don't show you. Right? They're gonna tell you this. You guys coming into real estate new and know nothing about it, or even if you're in real estate, you kind of stumble along until you get this stuff down. I stumbled. It took me a while to get everything. And that's why I created this, because if I could help you guys improve and cut out a year, 2 years of bullshit that I had to deal with by doing this and working on these deals with you guys, the first 2, 3, 4 deals, it's going to get smoother and smoother for you. That's how it works.
And you know what amazes me is that people don't think that you should get your 6% or whatever, but look at all that's involved.
They don't realize what you do. You know why? Because no one explains it to them.
Right.
The seller knows what I do. Because I explain them, here's what we got to do. Here's how it's got to work. Here's what I got to deal with. Here's what this is gonna, here's this is gonna happen here. I explain this to them, and I'm telling you, the people I deal with buying and selling know more about real estate than people who have a real estate license. Because I kind of guide them. I don't just do like I take them through the whole thing. And by the end of the day, they would make like, my God, like you're worth it, right? Because then they realize what you've done for them. You know, the lady that wrote the review, I got her 30 grand more for the house because of the contingent, because of the assumption on the loan. She was gonna sell the house for 30 grand less. I got her more money because the guy got the low rate. Stuff like that. And I explained to her, here's how we could do this. Here's how this works. Even before we did it, I said, here's what I'm going to try to do. Here's why I'm going to try to do this. Here's what's going to work for you. You know, I take the time to explain it to them. And then when it happens, they're like, holy shit, you did it. Like, you know, so was I worth her paying me what she paid me to get her an extra 30 grand? Yeah, damn straight I was. You know, I paid for myself and another 15 grand. Just in that one little thing. So, but that's how that works, right? So this is the stuff for buy side. Or sell side, I'm sorry, listing side. Buy side, same thing. You have all these things you need to do for a buyer when you're dealing with a buyer. Okay. On that side of the deal. There's a lot more in depth when you're doing this because you have to do the inspections, you got to renegotiate, you got to do all these things on a buy side. Okay. Do you guys have any questions on the way a deal works? Okay. Another thing I created here for transactions. Back in the day, there wasn't, like when I first started, 2004, 2000, before that, man, 19, was it first 20, like 1998, 99. When I started doing real estate stuff, there really wasn't all this technology, all the computers and all this stuff, right? I mean, they were there, but it wasn't like this. So what we used to do, we used to have legal size manila folders. And on the inside cover, I would staple this. 4 staples, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the deal, I put the date. The folio number is the property identification number, the PIN number that's on the tax map, the MLS number when it went into the system. If it was a condo, if it needed approval, what date I got it. Showing instructions, I would put, you know, the numbers or the lockbox codes, property address, all the information. Owner's information, if there's another agent involved, homeowners insurance, condo association, title company, mortgage. I would keep all this stuff in the folder because you would have to go to the folder. If I had to call the mortgage guy, I had to get it, right? So I kept this. I mean, when you guys do your first deals, it might be cool to have one of these and just keep some notes on your deals. You don't have to. All this stuff now is kept in email. You know, you have it in the emails, you have it in your all my people are my email. Like I type their name, boom, it comes up. Like everything's there. They're connect, like everything I need, the contact, all that. But this is like old school. Okay. All right.
I like the old school.
Man, I miss simple shit like that. But then again, remember you had to handwrite all the contracts? I could type a contract in 12 minutes and have it signed from my phone. I don't even need to be at a computer.
I know.
So some things I like and some things I don't, you know?
Yeah.
One thing I don't like is the competence of people. You know, competence of people. So, and like this kid today didn't get back to me. Do you know how frustrating that was? I have my buyers asking me what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. They're not getting back to you, they're not getting back to you, they're not getting back to you, right? So this was yesterday, right? I'm going to show you guys this before we get to the next thing. The guy's name's George. Please confirm you got the email attached to the offer. All the documents are in one PDF for your convenience. Any questions, please call me. Response time is 5 p.m. tomorrow. I own the brokerage and a real estate school. All my info is below. My signature, if you'd like to take a look. Everything's down here, right? I say that to them so they know you're not going to screw around. like, I want the point across to them that I know what I'm doing. Don't screw around, right? Let's get it done. So, let me see. 12 emails, right? 12 emails since yesterday. He said, receive, thank you, right? Keller Williams guy, right? Typical. I said, great, thanks for letting me know. Now, today at 12:14, do you have an update? Reminder, deadline 5 p.m. Have to show them more properties, blah, blah, blah. 2:22, no response. Any response? 4:06. Hey, George, do you have a response from my buyer? Requested multiple times. Next communication will be with your broker. Right? Look what happened. 45 minutes later. No response yet. Right? Because I'm telling you, at 5:01, I was going to be on the phone with the broker. I said, no response yet. Okay, so that was 4:50. My answer, can you find out if they plan to? like, with no response yet. It's got 10 minutes. Can you find, do they plan on responding or no? Like, that's what I asked them.
Wait, is this is the agent here and
This is
you're
the agent I
putting in
sent
no
the-
response yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been contacting him from yesterday. I asked him 3 times for a response before, one at noon, one at 2, one at 4. Meanwhile, I'm driving all over God's creation. I'm doing this on my phone. I'm doing 15 other things at the same time, right? This isn't the only thing I'm working on. So I literally told him, next communication will be with the broker. No response yet. Well, it's 4:50. What kind of answer is that? I answered him right back. Can you find out if they plan to? Like, they're your client, right? Are they going to respond? 48 hours later, are they going to respond? He said at 5:40, which is 40 minutes late. Yes, they were reviewing the offer now. I'll get back to you shortly. Please thank your buyers for their patience. My buyer's patience? What about mine? Right? I say, okay, thanks. I'll let them know. You're welcome. The fucking guy's weird. Anyway, and then hello, please thank your buyers for their patience. After careful consideration, they want the final changes. We offered 369 with 10,000 credit. So they won't come down. They want 379, but they're still going to give 10,000 credit, which is okay. We wanted 2,500 down. They want 3,790 down. That's okay. The problem is they want the contract. They want the property under contract, not on the market that they're selling. And they just put it on the market last week. There's no contract yet. There's no way I'm going to get it under contract. Like, I'm not listing it. It's a mobile home. It's a mobile double wide. It has a VIN number. I can't even sell it. Right? It has to be done through the people who we bought it from. So that's all the stuff there. So bottom line is, this is a hurdle. We're not getting over this. And if they're not going to accept it, we're not closing till May 15th. We have 2.5 months, right? But yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know if we're going to make this happen. You know, everything else is fine. The whole deal's fine. That's the 3 things. These 2 are okay. Number 3, we can't get over. So I said, look, thank you. I said, now I responded to him. After he sent me this, before I talked to the buyer, I said, thank you. The property is currently on the market as I sent in the listing agreement and the offer. However, it is not under contract yet. Will that be a deal breaker? Or if the other conditions are met, will they accept that? I said, they just put it on the market a week or so ago. It may take a few weeks to get under contract. That's why the 5/24 closing date, to allow time. Please let me know before I review with the buyer. And then he messaged me back a couple minutes later. At this point, the seller would like the buyer to be under contract with the sale of their property before moving forward.
He just restated the first thing
Yeah.
he said.
Right. So like, he didn't even like take these ideas to the seller.
Right. Right.
He should have went there and said, look, you know, everything else they're meeting, we have 2 months and a half. They just put it on the market. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even
Yeah.
try to do anything, you know? I mean, that was the fastest response I got from the fucking guy. Excuse my language.
Yeah, it just makes it seem like he doesn't even want to
You
deal
don't
with
really
the
care. You don't really
bullshit.
care.
Yeah.
Right. So you see that's kind of that's what you got to deal with. And Crystal, you saw the bullshit you dealt with these agents when remember we had to send thing 3 times. Oh, and to get the email, we had to send it again. Remember all that shit? So
But with Kathleen, yeah.
this is why I tell you guys, not even Kathleen, the one before, remember the lady and another guy was involved, or Remember, we had to send it twice, and the other guy was the real agent, or she was the. I don't know what it was. I don't know if you remember that one. It was the older lady.
For Kathy or for Amber?
No, for Amber's deal, but it wasn't the one we closed. It was one before, one of the other offers.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Remember that lady? We had to send it a couple times. She didn't get it, but we know she got it.
Yes,
You remember that, right? This is the
I
kind of
do.
garbage, right? There's just no competence. And the competence is the problem for me. I'd rather see these agents out of business. I'd rather deal with good agents that care about what they do. Like this kid could have called them and said, here's where we're at. Now, here's the thing. He said the seller would like. Now, tomorrow when I go back to him, say, listen, here it is. Here's what we can do. That's it. Either that or we're going to walk away. Now, then let's see what happens. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we are. So that's an example of just some of the stuff when it comes to that, right? That's just a little example of that. Okay. So does that help you guys understand a little more when you're seeing like real time, like stuff like that's actually happening as we speak?
Well, I like that you had that checklist. I don't remember that during my,
Which
I
one?
know, I need that
which is
checklist.
like the line, the 90 line
You
point.
guys have that. You guys have that. Go into the.
Oh, well, I
Oh.
completely forgot about it.
Hold on. Look, hold on. Go into the drive. Oh, wrong drive. Hold on. I got to go into the drive, the right drive. There we go. Okay, so if you go into the drive and you go into, let me show you guys where everything is. Pure 21 documents. If you go into the flow charts, right in here. All the flow chart, everything we're going over is in here. Yep.
All
see?
right, I'm saving those onto my desktop.
What you guys should do, honestly, you should go in here and you should take that whole folder and save it and leave that whole folder in your desktop and have everything there all the time. Just download that. Just download it. It'll bring it to the zip drive and then take it out of the zip folder and put it on the desktop. And you can delete the zip folder. And then that way you guys will have all this stuff that we're talking about.
Oh, shit. I did have it saved. Just kidding.
See, you guys have it all, you still know it. See, this is why this whole orientation we're gonna do. That's why I'm doing it for 60 days, 3 times a week. I'm gonna go through everything with you. There's so much, guys. There's so much. Everything I've built in my career is here. And I can only show you so much at a time. It's like, I wish I could just give it to you and get you guys going, but it takes time. It's not easy, All right.
I really don't know how you remember all this.
This is what I do for a living. I mean,
I know, I get that, but still.
it's my brain. It's the way it works. That's my calendar. Like, I mean, if you guys see what I do, I mean, showings and this is buyer showings. This is listing showings, the photo stuff we did, training stuff. This is another guy I got to meet with, next week. Here's next week's stuff. This is a buyer for this is a gentleman. He's a police officer. He's buying investment properties. It's one of Omar's clients. So we're going to start working with him. We're getting pre-qualified and we're doing some stuff. This is another gentleman I got to meet with. He's a financial planner. I'm doing some work with him to get referrals and stuff back and forth. This is another guy here already next week for selling. See, this is how it just fills in.
I want to know what Pizza Bus is. That's what I want.
You don't know about the pizza bus, dude?
Oh
You
yeah.
post about it left and right.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The
Where?
business,
But where is that?
it's here.
At his
I built it here.
office.
I built it outside.
Oh, okay. I was
You
gonna
just
say,
see-
how do you do both at the same time frame?
No, that's just the hours it's open. So I know when I gotta be I'm not physically doing both. That's
Gotcha.
that's when I gotta make sure things are in place and I just keep it there so I know what's what. That's why it's orange. All that stuff's orange. So I keep that. You didn't see the pizza bus stuff, man? Go on Facebook. Here it is. So here's the office. I fenced it in. I put like a whole thing out here, man.
Yeah, I saw the videos where you were making the album.
Oh yeah. Bill, there they are. There's pizzas. There's some of the pizzas that we've made. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
And it's all set up, man. We're good. The menu's good. We're actually open. We're doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not doing all week yet because I'm gonna hire some people and get it going. But Yeah, no, everything's there,
In
man.
Jersey, there was a guy that set up a sushi truck during
Nice.
pandemic in his yard.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
like I think he had to shut it down because I guess
Afterwards.
well, I guess the location was not zoned for that or whatever.
Yeah, see, it's a commercial lot here. I can do anything. So
Yeah.
he actually
nice.
just wrote this is the article in the newspaper, just went out on a couple days ago. They wrote a whole like an article about us with the pizzas and everything. So it's pretty cool. We're getting some feedback from it. But
Nice.
yeah, it's on
Thank God,
Facebook.
thank God I don't live there. I'd be 300 pounds.
It-
Danny and I would, what would we
Boy,
be
it's
doing is
freaking
eating
good.
pizza.
The pizzas are freaking good, man. Everybody has them and they come back. Like everybody's come back, and then like I do the cannolis, the tiramisu, and the cookies, all homemade stuff. So I've been given like a pizza with a cookie in the box. Give everybody a cookie, so like when we give them out,
Oh
But
my gosh.
it's pretty cool. It's people love it, man. I think it's gonna take off. It's just a matter of timing and stuff. So it's pretty cool. But that's as stuff goes on, things fill in, and you guys got to do the same thing. When you set your calendar up, like if you go into One Sub and set up a meeting with me, it goes in here automatically. And your calendars, when I set them up with you, did the same thing. If I have to reset them up, Crystal mentioned that some of them, because you guys didn't use them, they went dead. We may have to reset them or reactivate them on your sites so they work.
Can I see your calendar? Because I see,
My
can I
calendar,
see your calendar?
that's just on the screen right now.
No. When I go on my calendar,
I don't think so.
okay,
The way you can see when I'm available is if you come just in here. Like if you want to see when I'm available, if for a seller, I mean for anything, the times are the same. On here, I have new agents, consultation, student consultation, but the times are the same. When you have a seller, you go in here, and then you put the seller's name in everything. But some of the people don't know how that works yet. We didn't get that far. But you come in here, like so tomorrow, I have a 9 and a 10 o'clock available. Then Saturday, 9 and 10, 11. The 11th, I have all these available. 12th, 13th, 14th, it cuts back down. So it just depends on the day.
Yeah, but how do I get to this?
Just put philipsimonetta.com. Just my name. philipsimonetta.com. It takes you here. I bought that domain for it.
Okay.
You could buy a domain and do the same thing. So like I have pier21realty.com, pier21realty.school, philipsimonetta.com. Now you don't have to because you get a domain for it. See, like when you go look at the domain on top of my screen. See, that's my Go Hub, One Hub right there. You're gonna get one like that with your name. You could use that. But I just made my name up and forward it. That way, so when if I'm out on the street talking to somebody, hey, here's my information. Go put my name in, philipsimonetta.com, and schedule an appointment with me. We could talk on Zoom. That's why I did that.
Okay.
I can send a link on the phone. Boom. Schedule the appointment. I'll talk to you whenever you set it up. We'll jump on Zoom. Just like that. That's why I did that. I'm not saying everybody should do that.
but this is on your phone, One Sub.
If I text you my www.philipsimonetta.com, and you click it, it'll take you here. Because it forwards. So that's what I do. I'll send it to somebody. Here, schedule an appointment. Boom. That's how it works. Somebody wants to do fingerprints. They come in, boom. They come in, they see when the fingerprints are available. That's it. See? That's when the fingerprints are available. Pick a time, come in. That's it.
Now I'm craving brick oven pizza.
Especially that white one.
Buddy, there's no pizza like that anywhere.
That Bianca is delicious, by the way, Maureen.
Oh my God, Krista, I'm like mouth watering for it. I'm
You
looking
guys
at
gotta
it.
understand.
That was the first one I ordered. I was like, give me all the ricotta.
that pizza, the dough, it's a 2-day process. Like I start it today, I finish it tomorrow for the next day. Like it's like and I can only make 150 pies a day. So when I run out of dough, it's closed. So
And
it's
he cooked me just that dough one time to try it with like a little dip, and it was amazing.
it's like bread. It's like you can roll that really thin. It's like pita bread. Like you can roll it really, really thin and make like sandwiches with it. Like if I get a rolling pin and roll it like paper thin, it'll be so good. But I just use it, for the dough, for the bread, but for the crust. But it's a great dough, but it's a 2-day process and it's work. But once everything's good, you hire the right people, you just manage it. It's just timing and management, but you got to get the right people, things like that. All right. So what I want to do tonight, what I want to finish up with is the outline. Okay. So now we've talked about processes. We talked about the introduction and everything what direction we're going to go in. Now I want to talk about the outline of the actual apprenticeship before we jump in. Okay. And so let me go through this with you. I emailed you guys the outline and I emailed you the workbook. You guys all have them. So what we're going to do is not only are we going to do the case studies in between here, everything I'm going to teach you falls within these 22 lessons. Some of the lessons will be shorter than others. Some are going to take a couple nights to go through. Okay. But these are the topics that we're going to hit. And then underneath the topics, there'll be subtopics. There'll be videos. There'll be audios. There'll be different things we do for each section. Okay. So the introduction we already did, how that works. The first session is going to go through time management. Okay. How to work your schedule, how to plan your day, what to do in the mornings, what to do in the afternoon, when to do follow-up, when to make new calls. Time management. That's how I get things done. That's how I take care and make sure the bus is running and operating. That's how, I make sure things are delivered and done on time. How I deal with clients, how I can drive to Orlando and do showings and come back to Jacksonville and do something else here. It's all time management, scheduling. It's just getting things done. I mean, I go nonstop. I go from 6:30 in the morning. I'm not going to get done here till 10:30 with you guys. By the time I wind down and catch up and do everything else I have to do, I won't go to bed till 12:30. That's my life. It's my work is my life. I don't go home. I don't it's just what I do. I just go through my life. So
Do you enjoy sleeping or no?
no, I get bored. I got to get
Okay. I figured that.
It's like going to the beach. I can go to the beach 20 minutes. I like it. I get out of there. I can't sit there anymore.
I can see that.
I can't
I
stand
can
it. I
believe
can't
that.
stand sitting around. Yeah. That's why I can't go on a cruise. I'll probably jump off.
You and Danny.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I went on a cruise Aruba, like Curacao and stuff. I was going nuts. I couldn't stand it. I mean, it was fun for a while. You're going to eat so much food. You can't.
I mean, technically nowadays you can buy the Wi-Fi package, and I
Oh,
guess still
Crystal,
work.
yeah, that's right.
I
Crystal,
did go on my cruise during
Crystal and John go on the cruise.
years, and I still worked.
Crystal, remember you?
I think I'd like that better.
She
I
was
think
on the
I'd like that,
cruise
Crystal.
where we did Wagner's deal. Like we were, she was actually on the cruise, and we were. I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah, I had to keep going my emails, sending you stuff, hopping on calls,
That's funny.
in between drinks.
That's funny. So time management's everything. I mean, it's how do you think I could be a top 5% of transactions of all brokers in Florida? It's because time management. I can get more done than 100 people. It's time management, right? And anybody can do it. It just depends on how hard you want to work. Look, you guys, you can make $100,000 or you can make $1 million. It depends how hard you want to work, because the system I'm going to teach you allows that for you. It's just, listen, if I want something, I just got to make more phone calls. If I need money, I just make more phone calls. So I'm going to get more deals. The more harder you want to work and the more you want to do, it's just, you got to make more. It's just more statistics. It's all it is, So time management. Now, after that, it comes to prospecting. Prospecting, not only in real estate, but prospecting in any business is what makes it. Okay. You could have the best pizza in the world. A mom and pop pizza shop sitting there has the best pizza in the world. One block over, there's a Domino's Pizza.
Right.
Domino's Pizza will do 115 times the business in the mom and pop shop. Subway restaurant sells you a shit sandwich. It's not even bread. The tuna fish isn't even fish. Remember all the shit, the lawsuits? Okay, but because they got Mike Strahan and Jared, the guy, the whatever, they put the other people out of business. It's all about prospecting and marketing. You can sell shit to people and they'll buy it. Subway does it. Domino's does it. Little Caesars does it. Right? I can put my pizza up against any of them. No comparison. Mine's a little more expensive, but it's better. Right? But the thing is, it's the marketing. They'll spend $100 million on marketing and be on every Super Bowl channel and games and TV, and you know what I mean? So getting in front of the people and prospecting is the only thing that matters. And once you do, and once they know who you are, you're in. And you have to be able to present that properly, because these people want to sell their house. Who's the hottest lead? Their house came off the market midnight last night. Do you think they still want to sell it? Yeah. You got 100 idiots calling them. You have to make them understand you're not like these other people. They need to know you. That's what I do. And we're going to get through that when we start going over the talking points. You're going to hear me do that. You're going to hear people doubt me. You're going to hear me shut them down and make an appointment. You're going to hear me. You're going to hear me say things to them like, holy shit, I can't believe you just said that. But it works. I don't give a shit. I'm never going to meet them. You know, I tell you, sometimes I get to the point where they'll say things like rude and mean, like you know, like rude, really rude. And I'll tell them, listen, I go, yeah, you're a funny guy. I say, you should be a comedian. I go, but you want to know something? See, you have no idea who I am, but I know where you live.
Right.
Dude,
Literally.
you'll hear a pin drop. Like, they're like, holy shit. Like, and I'll just be like, I'm just kidding. Now you want to listen to what I got to say? I'll say shit like that. I don't care. What are you going to do? You know? But
Wait, just remember, I know where you live. That's like
just
intimidating.
remember, I know where you live. Like, you have to look at the address right here, right? So and then it gets quiet. And I'm like, I'm just kidding with you. I'm like, why don't you lighten up and listen to me for a second? And then they're like, holy shit. Like, they listen, they get scared. Or I'll get them on the phone and I'll be like, listen. I'll say that to them like that. Human nature, they listen. I'll hit the table. I'll like, listen what I'm trying to say to you. Like, they'll keep going and going. I'll hit the table and I'm like, listen. They stop. It's crazy. You're going to see me do it. You're going to see me do the shit. And it's just like, and you see, the thing is, I know in my heart, I know in my soul that I can help them. And if they just give me a minute and let me show them what I can do, not only can I help them out of the situation they're in, I can make money. You know, I truly, in my soul, believe that. I know there's nobody on earth that can do what I do. And I need you guys to see that. I need you guys to feel the same way about what you're bringing to the table for these people. You know, Crystal's seen it. She saw me go list a house for these people. They were upset because the 2 agents in Tennessee didn't find them a house. I got the license in 10 days, found them a house, and put it under contract. Actually, I put 2. The first one I put under contract, it fell apart because the roof was bad. The second one I put under contract, and we got the deal. And I didn't get their house here until 2 weeks later under contract in Florida. Got the license to put them under contract in 2 houses and got the deal done. Because you know what? I know what I'm doing. I never went to Tennessee. My feet were never in Tennessee. I never touched the ground there. So I know how to get things done. And when we talk to people and explain to people, send them the reviews. Go look at our Google reviews. Go look at this. Go look at all the Google reviews but one, Maureen.
Very funny, Phil. Very funny.
You might get another one if you keep telling me you know where they live.
No, I honestly, Maureen, I don't know what you did to the lady or the guy or whatever, but I tell them, I know where you live. I never got a 1 review.
I guess it's the way you say it.
You know why? I come across and I laugh about it with them. Like, I'm like, calm down. I go, I know you're getting a lot of calls from idiots. I get it. Just hear me out. Just listen to what I got to say to you for a second. You owe it to yourself. I say shit like that to people.
I know, but it's different coming from a man than a woman.
No, it's not. It's easier for a woman. If I was a woman, I'd be a billionaire. Come on.
I bet you would be too.
I'd be a billionaire, man. So, but what I'm trying to say is, it's all about presentation, right? Domino's Pizza can sell shit and sell millions of it when the best pizza next door goes out of business. They sell Subway sandwiches, shit, when the best sandwich shop around the corner goes out of business, right? I'm trying to tell you, if you know how to sell it and you know how to get and say, here's who we are. Here's why I'm calling you. I'm not like those people. Hear me out for a second. You're going to hear me doing this. You're going to see me get deals. Crystal, you were here when the kid got hung up on. I called the people back, right? You were here.
Yeah, I was there.
You know, and it's just how you present yourself, and you got to have the confidence. Listen, if you guys call people and get a deal and make 15 grand, 7 grand, 8 grand, 20, and you do it once or twice, 3 or 4 times, you're going to say, holy shit, I got to do this more. You do it 10 times, you just made yourself 50 to 100 grand. You do it 20 times, you just made 100 to 200 grand. Like, it's just repetition. Listen, when I go to get dinner, I have the same conversation with people I have on the phone. Oh yeah, I meet somebody at the bar. Yeah. Oh, so what do you do for a living? I let them tell me what they do for a living. I don't care what they do. Tell me everything you do. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay. I keep asking them questions until they ask me, well, what do you do? Now they're done. As soon as they ask me, what do you do? It's fucking over. Right. But that's the point. You got to talk to them. You know, genuine care. I truly care about people. I like people, you know, but in general, you know, I try to help people get where they're going. It doesn't matter if it's real estate, if it's this, if it's that. If you can just help people solve problems and get where they're going, they like you. They want to deal with you, right? That's how I've always been, no matter what it is. So prospecting, that's why prospecting is so important. Now, next you have past clients. I'm going to go through these. I don't want to go too long. It's 46 already. Past clients, a center of influence. This is taking everybody you know, everybody you've done business with. Doesn't mean real estate. Whoever does your nails, whoever does your pedicure, whoever cuts your hair, whoever, people you do business with, you have to have a certain conversation with them so they want to give you business too. Like if you're giving somebody money, they want to give you back business, right? Like they want to help you too. It's a relationship you have with them. So you need to be able to approach those people. Lead follow-up. Lead follow-up is everything. You know, the amount of times that you're going to get a deal on the first call is impossible, right? It's not going to happen. I've done it. I got better at it. I still do it sometimes. But you're going to talk to people 2, 3, 4 times, you know, 5, 6 times before you get a deal. That's why in our process, we're calling them, we're texting them, we're emailing them, we're sending them a report. You know, I'm emailing them. We're hitting them 5, 6, 7 times before the Zoom call. By the time they're on the Zoom call, they already know us. They've seen us. They've seen videos, seen this. It's like, oh, it's already pre-sold. That's why it's easy to close them on the Zoom, right? They see everything. Pre-qualifying them, okay? You got to know if somebody wants to sell a house, but there's no equity in it, or somebody is behind on payments and there's no equity in it, they can't sell the house. It's not sellable. Or if they can't get a mortgage, why are you going to work with somebody if they can't get a mortgage? Are you going to waste your time? You a chauffeur? You're going to go show them houses? You know, where's HGTV? What is it? You know? So listing presentation, you're going to see that when we do the Zoom call. My listing presentation is done on Zoom. The sell is done on Zoom. And then we go to the house after. That's how I've done it for years. I've done that for even before COVID. I did that. It was harder to do before COVID. COVID made it easier. Okay. Okay. How to price the properties, RPR reports, comps, what's selling, what's on the market, what didn't sell, what closed. It's all right there. Okay. How to price them, how to handle the objections. Okay. When they tell you, oh no, I'm going to go with the same agent. Okay. Well, okay. I understand that you feel loyalty to them, but what are they going to do different this time than they did last time? Oh, you know them a long time. Yeah, I know. Sometimes dealing with friends sometimes is like the worst thing in the world because you can't really say how you feel. You know, sometimes it's better to have somebody outside that is a strictly business relationship, you know, that gets things done. Look, there's a reason we're top 5% of all transactions in the state of Florida. There's a reason we own a real estate school and a brokerage. There's a reason we're licensed in Tennessee, North Carolina, and Florida. There's a reason for a lot of things. And I'd like an opportunity just to show you the reason. Okay. You're going to see me on the call with the lady, the one that hung up on the kid. I asked her permission. I said, is it okay with you? Like, Are you going to list it with the same person? She had it listed with somebody else. She had it listed with 2 other agents. Neither of them sold the property. None of them advertised it as a assumption. I said, are you open to a conversation with me about telling you how I can get this done for you? I actually asked her because she was very passive on the phone. And I let her think she had control. Sometimes you got to let them think they have control, right? Perception's everything. They can think anything they want. At the end of the day, I'm going to show you how it gets done, right? Let them think they have the control. Who gives a shit, right? So perception's everything. You have to know how to handle the objections, because an objection is just them, think about when you go grocery or go clothing shopping. Hey, can I help you? No, I'm just looking. Obviously, you could use their help because you don't know what you're looking for. But like you say, oh no, I'm just looking. So you don't want to bother, right? You just want to be left alone. That's what people want. Listen, people call me, I hang up on them. I don't even care who they are. I don't give a shit who they are. Like, even if they could help me, I don't care. I don't want their help. That's just who I am. So it's just the way it works, right? So some people you're not going to get through to. You call me, you're not going to get through. I don't care. I don't need your help, right? But you're going to have people like that. There's people I can't get through to. It's just the way the world works. You're not going to get everybody. Okay, so closing skills, how to get them to say, yes, let's do it. Listening, figuring out what the important things are to them, keeping that in the back of your mind as you're talking. And when it comes time to close, you hit them, right? Working with buyers, that section I hate, but I'll do it for you guys if you want. All right. Staff and administration. Okay, so as we grow, I'm going to hire transaction coordinators. So doing the paperwork, you can have a transaction coordinator do it. See, I like doing my own stuff because I handle everything. I don't like letting a third party handle things because things fall through the loop and they're not doing it. But administration, how things work, how I plan to grow the office, right? Expand the office, different locations, different things. Customer service, okay? Customer service is super important. Not everything is always going to be sales. Not everything is going to be transactions. Dealing with people on their birthdays, taking their birthdays down, sending them a birthday card. How many people send you a birthday card with their handwritten in, hey, happy birthday, was thinking of you. Hope everything's going great with the house. Christmas time, I'll send Christmas cards. I'll put scratch off lottery tickets in. One time a guy won $5,000. He gave me $1,000. I bought lottery tickets and sent them in the scratches. Literally, the guy won $5,000. And he showed up at the office in Fort Lauderdale and he gave me $1,000. He goes, dude, he's like, I won $5,000 here. Here's $1,000. He made me take it. So stuff like that. It cost me what, $300 to send 300 lottery tickets to people? Gives a shit. Right? So that's customer service. Business planning, huge. Setting goals, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly, revisiting them, putting goals together, putting things on paper. It's huge. Okay. Tracking your numbers. Numbers are the most important thing. Okay. How many calls, how many contacts, how many appointments, how many closed deals, right? Practicing scripts and developing skills. You have to take the talking points and you have to memorize them. Like I've told you guys before, some of you guys, I use Johnny Depp as that analogy, right? Johnny Depp is drunk in some bar in England. Johnny Depp, following a script of a pirate, makes $300 million with Disney, right? Pirates of the Caribbean, or whatever it's called. The script and the presentation and those skills of how to deliver it is what makes you money. Okay, that's what makes me money. Having that conversation so naturally with people that it's a no-brainer. They got to deal with me, right? I can call somebody up and say, my name's Aiden, and do the same thing. They'll think I'm Aiden, right? Or I can call up and say, my name's Maureen. They'll say, damn, that guy, that must be one of those trans people. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing. But you know what I'm saying? But what you have to do, you got to be able to practice scripts. You got to be able to make it natural. It's got to be like your favorite song. You could sing it off. Like your favorite song makes you no money, but you know every word to it. You got to get the script down. You got to get the talking points down so you get it. So you can talk to people naturally You don't have to sit and think about it like, yeah, well, we own we do, yeah. And you don't want to be their friend. You don't want to talk to them any different way. You want to hit point 1, point 2, point 3. There's only one reason for that first conversation. Here's who we are. Here's what we do. Here's why we're the best. No one can touch what we do. Here's what you want to do with us. Here's how we'll get it done. Let's go. That's all you want. You don't want to talk about my ties. You don't want to talk about this city. You don't talk about that beach. Nothing. There's one thing you want to tell them: who you are, what you do, and why you're the one to get it done. That's it. Because the rest is bullshit, right? You want the results. You got to show them the results. Okay. Mindset. Okay. This is part of the training and that I do with the personality tests. Okay. We got to get to that. Last apprenticeship, we didn't even get to it. I got to go over that with you guys. I might start off on that with you about the personalities. I might move that up to the beginning before time management. Whoever didn't do your personality test, make sure you guys do it before tomorrow's class. We're going to go over that tomorrow, actually. Okay. Wait, what's today? Hold on. No, Monday. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the apprenticeship Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 8 to 10. Okay. We're not going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I got to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because of other things I have to do schedule wise. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 8 to 10. Okay. So for Monday, make sure you guys get those. If you guys did them already and send them to me, I have them. If you didn't, make sure you do it and send it to me. And then we're going to use them on Monday. And we're going to start off with the mindset and the personality types. So you can start understanding when you're talking to somebody, couple questions, and you can know what they are. And then you can start talking to them the way they're going to understand clearly. You're going to see it's really interesting how that works. Okay. And then the goal setting and motivation, money management, and profitability. I'm going to talk to you guys about how profitability and money works. I have a spreadsheet that I use. I think I've shown some of you guys. It's a spreadsheet. You put all your income, you put all your expenses, and that you use that for your taxes at the end of the year. So if you make 25,000, you're spending $199 a month on your marketing, right? That $199 a month is a tax deduction on your taxes at the end of the year when you itemize. Okay. Anything, your MLS dues, your course that you paid for, your fingerprinting, all that stuff comes off your income before you pay taxes. And I have a spreadsheet that I'll send to you guys. Some of you guys I sent it to already. And you use that. I use it for my real estate business. I use it for the pizza bus. I use it for my tax preparation business. I have a different spreadsheet for each thing. Okay. And I use that. And that's how I do my taxes at the end of the year. All my totals are there and it goes in the file and it's done. So it keeps everything lined up. So you know what you have to pay in taxes. You can make $100,000 in commission, but if you don't write any of that off, you're going to pay a lot of money in taxes. So you need to be able to know what you're itemizing and give it to your accountant who does it. Or if you do your own, whoever does it, you got to have that. And I'll give you the same stuff I use and you can do the same thing. Okay. And you can use it for real estate. You can use it for anything else you're doing too. Okay?
If you already sent that and we have it, where would it be? In the file?
It should be in the file under, it should be in there. I think it
Okay.
should be in there. I could look in a second. Hold on. Okay, so business systems. Okay, this is using Cardone University, the training, the Mike Ferry system that you guys have in there, right? The one I paid 12 grand for. All that stuff. The Keller Williams training is in there. Their Ignite program. I have all that stuff. I share it with you. All the training that I got when I was with them for that little bit of time when I first started. Okay, and last, understanding personality styles. That's going to be combined with mindset and goal setting and motivation. 18, 19, and 22, we're going to hit that area on Monday when we go over the personality types. Okay. So I can tell you guys the personality types. Mine, I'm a 9. There's 100 level on each. I'm a 97D, 97I. I'm like a 23S and like a 24, 25C for my scoring. So when you guys do it, like I'm a high D person, a high I. So when I start teaching you guys what that is, when I'm dealing with this S or a C, I got to slow myself down. If I want to do business with them and I want them to trust me, I got to slow myself down. I got to become a different person or they're never going to deal with me. I'm going to scare the shit out of them. Like they're not even going to, they're going to, I can't deal with that guy. They're because they're so organized, not organized, but they're so like honed in, dot the I, cross the T. They're like engineers, architects. They take their time. If there's a deadline, they'll miss the deadline to make sure it's perfect. If they're building something, they'll build it. It'll last forever. Right? They're with those kind of people, you know, if it wasn't for them, buildings would be falling down all over the place. Like they're the people who build buildings. They're the people who build bridges, right? They're architects and engineers, you know, people like that, you know, the product, making it perfect, very analytical, right? So when they make a decision, they need all kinds of information before they make a decision, right? So I'm going to show you how to, like, depending on what your personality type is, you're going to say, okay, that's what I am. So when I'm dealing with somebody like this, I must become like this to be able to deal with him. Or if I'm dealing with somebody like me, that's a high D, oh my God, it's the best thing in the world. Let's get it done. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. But when I'm dealing with an S cares more about feelings than results, more about, you know, emotions than results. Me, I'll step all over your emotions to get the results. So you have to say, okay, hold on a minute. All my natural ability to get a result has to go away. And I have to put myself in their shoes if it means enough to me. If it doesn't mean enough to me, I'm like, screw it, move on, go to the next one. Like, I don't give a shit, right? But if it's a deal, or if it's somebody I care about, something that's important to me, I have to take a step back and get out of my natural state and become more like that, be able to adjust. Does that make sense? Like, have you guys ever had situations where you had to do that to deal with somebody? And those people, they just rub you the wrong way. You can't be around them. You don't like them. It's a metaphysical thing. It's energy. Like sometimes people just rub you the wrong way. They're not a bad person. It's just you can't stand being around them. It's because they're the opposite of you, and it drives you crazy. Anybody have people like that in their life?
Yeah, I think it could be mentally exhausting when you have to deal with somebody you don't
Yeah.
want to.
But if you got a $50,000 commission on the line, is it worth it?
Oh, for sure. That's
what I'm trying. But if it's a relative of yours and you care about them, is it worth it? You know what I say? There's things you have to do. Man, like sometimes I can't deal with Aiden sometimes. Aiden's the opposite of me. Drives me fucking crazy sometimes. But it's like I just have to deal with it, right? Because that's my kid. I love my kid. I want to make sure he's all right, but it drives me crazy sometimes. And I have to take myself back. I have to slow down, and I have to figure out how to communicate. Because though if I communicate the way I want to communicate, it's not going to be good. It's not going to come out right. You know, like how I am, right?
So well, you're navigating it. You're navigating how to deal with people.
You got to choose if it matters to you or not. That's what matters. You got to choose if it matters to you. And that's what it comes down to. Because if you don't choose and you try to appease everybody, it is mentally exhausting. It's not worth it. You know, you can't do that. You gotta be 100%. You gotta be 100% yourself before you can be anything for anybody else. Right. So I got to a point in my life where I just don't deal with certain people. I don't want to, I don't care to. You know, I don't give a shit. Like not just business. I don't want to be around certain people. I don't like them. I don't care. I just don't want to deal with it. It's just something I don't care to be around, you know? And since I've done that, my life's been 100% better. Like I just don't have any problems. So I don't give a shit. So sometimes you got to do that. And that's personality styles. That's, you know, if it makes sense, you do it. If it doesn't, you don't. You know, just don't take bullshit from people. And you'll get to a point, I'm telling you guys, if you just follow, as we get into this system, and as we get into the prospecting and the talking points, if you just take what I show you and do what I say and follow the system, you have to be successful, because I'm successful doing it for all these years. You know, you just have to overcome the hump to get there. And I'm telling you, that hump is the hardest thing to overcome. I still don't like talking to people, yet I do it because I have to. It's part of being successful. If I don't talk to people, I'm not going to get any business. You got to have these conversations, hard conversations with people. And to tell you the truth, you start getting, like, when you have that hard conversation with somebody and it leads to a success, it feels good. You know, it feels good, and you want to do another one. You know, you got to have the right conversation. You can call 1,000 people, and if you say the thing wrong 1,000 times, you're going to get no deals. And that's going to get frustrating. That's going to get aggravating. You're going to say, what am I doing wrong? You blame the people, you blame this, you blame the system, you blame that. It's not that. There's something that you're not doing in order, because when you do what I do in order, and you can see it, you're going to see me doing it. Crystal see me doing it. Aiden sees me doing it. John, you seen me do it. John seen me. He's been in my office when I'm talking to people on the phone, and I just take shit. I'm just like, boom, give me it. Come here. I just take it because I know what I'm doing. I just handle it. So you got to get confident enough, and the information I'm giving you gives you that. And there's only so many objections. You know, they're not going to say, I don't like Burger King, I like McDonald's. They're only going to say, well, I'm going to use my agent. Oh, I'm going to sell it myself. I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to deal with an agent. I can't stand you people. They're going to say things like that. But if you already know the answer and you already have the comeback, and it's like your favorite song and you know every word, and it's like, what, man, I understand your frustration. Listen, if I were you, I'd feel the same way. But listen, if you were trying to play basketball and you wanted to learn, and Michael Jordan was offering you help, would you take it? Oh, yeah, of course. It's Michael. Listen, I'm going to say this about myself, but I'm going to prove it to you if you give me a chance. I'm like the Michael Jordan of real estate. I know this like the back of my hand. I've been doing this all my life, right? I've been doing this forever. Give me an opportunity to show you this. And look, after a 15-minute phone call or a 20-minute Zoom, if you don't think this is a good fit, we part as friends. I don't care. I'm not going to try to sell you. I just want to show you who I am, what we do, and why we'll get it done for you. And I know you need to get it done because you're trying to sell the house and you're getting frustrated. I don't like to see that. Give me an opportunity. And I promise you'll thank me. But I need some time to show it to you. That's it. That's how you talk to people. Care about them. Want to help them. Even if they're an asshole to you. Look, I understand you're mad. I'd be the same way. You know what? I hang up on people when they call me. Say the shit to them. Who gives a shit? You're never going to meet them. What do you care what they think about you? Right? That's how you look at it that way, right? That's how you got to communicate to these people. Okay? Does that help you guys get in the right kind of mindset of where you got to go to gain the trust and gain the conversation with the people? Okay. All right. So we'll leave off with this. Now, Monday, make sure you guys all have the personality types. Does everybody have the link for it? Does anybody need it?
Do you have mine?
I started it.
I think so. Hold on. You just I'll tell you in a second.
I don't know if I saved it or not.
If you send it to me, I have it. Hold on. I think I got almost everybody's. Hold on. Anand, Mike.
I'll
Chris-
look for it.
You know, I probably got it in my if you email it to me, I got it in my email. Hold on. It's probably in your folder. Is it in there? I don't see it in there. You sure you sent it?
Oh, no, I'll look for it. I have to have it somewhere.
That's right. Well, I'm gonna put it here real quick. I'll put it in the chat here for you, just so you guys have it.
Okay. Well, what happens if you take it again and then it says you do something different?
There you go. Here's the thing with it. Throughout
Can you
your
keep
life,
taking it?
well, you have to use a different email. Because your
What
email,
I mean, but the results, what happens? Do you think
re-
the results are the
your
same?
results over your lifetime can change. Because as your personality, as you mature, as you change, your priorities change. Right. So if something was like if the things were aggressive, passive, blah, 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 at one point in your life, you're more aggressive, right? But now if you're less aggressive, you're more passive, and it would change it. So when you're doing it, you just gotta be honest. Whatever the answer is, there's no right or wrong answer. That's what you have to understand. There's no right or wrong. It's what you are. So if you lie on it and, oh, well, I want to be this, but I'm not. But if you do that, it's not going to give you the right answer and it's not going to help you. So you have to say, okay, well, this is most like me. This is least like me. And you put them in order. And the answer you get is the right answer because that's who you are. So there's no right or wrong. You just want to get who you are. Because once you understand who you are, now you can start understanding the other types. And now you can understand how to adapt to them when you're wanting to deal with them. That's how it works. So, all right. So let's get out of here. We'll start on Monday, 8 p.m. And we're going to start working and drilling down in this. The first thing we're going to do is get all the personality types, get that all figured out. And then we're going to start getting into prospecting and really going over the information and the talking points. And I'm going to start making calls probably maybe Saturday during the afternoon when everybody can get time. Maybe I'll just take 3-4 hours and just make calls and you guys can watch. We'll see we'll take bets on how many deals I can get. We'll do over unders.
Okay.
How many threats is he going to make? How many, how many
Guess you
people
put him on
knows what
speakerphone.
he would. Yeah, I gotta mute you guys up because you're gonna start laughing. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. All right. I'll see you guys on Monday. If you guys, anybody here needs to come to the office, whatever, we're here. Whatever you guys need, just call.
Okay.
Leah, John, Omar. They're gonna watch the replay, I think. Make sure you guys, we're gonna get the photos the next day or two. I
Okay.
got to get the website set up. I want to get your websites active, get the Once Hub set up. So remember, we got to get the photos and we can set that up. I just
Okay.
about an hour. Leah, if you want to come in the office, we could do it here.
Okay.
I can sit here with you and do it.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Omar will
I'll
probably-
I'll always call before I come.
No. You can listen. You come. What I'm gonna as of next week. Right now, this week I'm still all over the place.
Mhm.
But as of next week, the office is going to be open 10 to 6.
Okay.
It's going to be open. You can come in, come and go as you need to. So just give me till next. I'm still just ironing out some things, and we'll be good.
Okay.
So, all right.
Got it.
All right, guys. I'll see you
Okay, good
on
night, everybody.
Monday.
Good
See you.
night.
Good night, guys.